Hi, welcome to episode 352 of your favorite daily podcast, A Couple of Things, a podcast about things. On today's episode, I talk with my friend Amarachi about running, preparing for a marathon, why we love Christmas, and letting your interests find you.
You're stealing my friend's woman.
She was my friend before she was your friend,
No.
as we established on the podcast
Okay,
episode.
you're stealing my friends.
Okay, if you insist, if that makes you feel better.
Men, they take everything.
Men take everything, like you said.
You
Okay.
just stole my friend.
Anyway, that's what the podcast is about, and happy listening. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of A Couple of Things. I have a guest, an amazing guest, the amazing Amy. Every time I said I'll add the sound, but I always forget to add the sound, so I'm not going to say
I've
I'll
added
add
the sound
the
for you.
sound, but the amazing Amy. Woohoo! Okay, amazing Amy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Amarachi, but most people call me Amy. Amarachi is Ekwe in full. I am Nigerian, of course. I'm Igbo. I come from Enugu State. I currently live in Berlin. Before Berlin, I lived in Lithuania for almost 3 years. And before Lithuania, I lived in Nigeria, a few cities in Nigeria. I think in general, I have lived in many different cities in 3 countries now. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I work as a software tester in a company in Berlin. Um, I love to run. I love to travel. I love to create content. I love to read. And I just love to try everything that I think of because I feel like you don't have to be just one thing. So yeah,
Mm,
I just love to have fun.
yeah, I agree with that. That's the way
Yeah.
to live, I think. Cool. So that's the intro. Short and sweet. I like it. Okay, so there are things I want to talk about from your intro, but let's do the
Okay.
routine questions, then we go into the other things. Um, how do we know each other?
How do we know each other? That's a very interesting question.
Very
But
complicated.
I think our very first interaction with each other was on the Read Club Telegram group. I think that's what I
Yeah,
remember. I remember
I think so
Lade
too.
as one very smart psychology student. Yes, that's how I know you. But of course, like I feel like our relationship has also like evolved because at first we are just like two
Mm-hmm.
people who were on the same, like group chats, and then we met up a
Mm-hmm.
few times outside the group chats in Nigeria, and then somehow we found ourselves outside Nigeria, and just yeah, interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I think I remember the first time we met in real life, like in person.
Yeah.
And it was, I can't remember why you came to
Uh-huh.
Lagos, but you were in Lagos for something, and we went to
Yes.
Freedom Park, and we did that New York Times, Abi
Yeah.
Proust
Yes,
36
I
questions, whatever
remember.
thing. Yeah, that's my first very clear memory of
Yeah.
you outside of
Yeah,
the
I
WhatsApp
remember.
group.
I think I reached out to you. I was like, "Oh, hi, Lade. I'm in Lagos. I was wondering if you'd like to meet up and hang out." And you said yes, and yes, that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was like when we actually really started talking after that.
Yeah,
And then when you moved to Lithuania, I kind of fizzled out a bit.
yeah,
And then
yeah. Before
when
then,
you
we
moved to
met in Ibadan
Berlin,
once. Remember?
we met in Ibadan. Or was it when
You were on a
we
work
all
trip.
went to that bar place?
No,
Mm.
you were on a work trip, and then you were staying in Golden Tulip Hotel, and
Oh
then
yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
yeah.
No, the other one was when when me and Okwe and a couple of people went for Roots NYC thing, and it was
Uh,
a very long period of time. It was a different time,
Oh yeah, and I
different
think I
thing.
also like to say that I was there on your first days with Nana. That was an African
Yes, you were. Actually, do you know I always forget all the people that were there, and everybody be like, "Oh, I was there that night. I was there that night," and it's like, "Oh, you were," because anyway, I was too focused on man, but But yeah. And then yeah, that's how we know each other.
Wait, she was there that night.
Yes, I was.
Nana said, "Were you there
Yes,
that
I
night?"
was.
Okay, so I feel like everyone is just inventing that they were there that night. Okay, because
Do you
no,
know
that's
that?
no. This
Do you
is
know that he actually just ran downstairs? Like what? Amarachi
no,
was there.
no, that's not possible. Like I'm hearing this
I
part for the
was
first time,
there.
and you're the third person who is telling me for the first time who I already know that is saying they were there that night. So, like, was the whole world there that night?
Apparently.
Apparently, but we were too focused on each other to pay attention to anybody
Yeah.
else. All right, go away. Anyway, right. So introduction. Last opening question. What's on your mind
What's on my
today?
mind today? Hmm, that's a good
Mm-hmm.
question. Um, Running. I've been thinking about running a lot. I went on a run today, and before today, I went on a run on Sunday. But in general, I haven't been able to like do outdoor running in a while because I had the flu, and then it took a while for me to recover. So I remember when I was still recovering, I tried to go on a run, and it was a disaster, and I cried, but it turned out I was PMSing, so I was very emotional. It made sense that I cried. So I ran today and I did a 6K, and it was good and it was nice and it was very refreshing. And I've been thinking a lot today about, oh, I love running. Like, I really, really like running. I want to run for the rest of my life. I want to run until I am physically unable to run.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yes, that's what has
Really?
been on my mind today.
I don't know anyone who feels
I
this way
know,
about
right? I feel
running.
like this is how people feel about the gym, but I realized I've never really felt like that about the gym. So when I discovered running and I started running, I'm like, oh, this is probably how people feel when they work out. Oh, interesting. And yes.
But what about running makes you feel this way?
So I love walking, right? And I feel like anybody who loves walking could fall in love with running, because I think that the idea of running people have is that you have to be fast, you have to be out of breath, you have to basically like be tortured. But that's not how I see running. And and I realized that initially when I tried to run, that's what I did and I hated it. But I remember
Mm.
the turning point for running for me was when I used like a guided run on Nike Run Club. And like the coach was was trying to like pace the runner. Like, you should be able to have a conversation while you're running doesn't have to be too fast, you don't have to be out of breath. Like, just like run at a pace that works for you, at a conversational pace. So I tried to do that and it was easy. I'm like, this is just like a step higher than walking. I like walking, and then running just it's just like a step higher, and it's nice and it feels good, and I feel the wind on my face, and like I'm just like seeing things, and it just feels very nice, and I don't know how to explain it, but like every time I run I feel so so good, and I go back to run again. So for me, like
Wow.
running is not about speed or distance, it's just about like how I feel and just wanting to be outside and moving. Like, it's about movement and just like enjoying myself.
Wow. I don't know. I feel like when I run, like when I finally psych myself up to run, when I finish, I'm like, yeah, I did that. But then after that, like I did an 8K like a couple of weeks ago and I've not run since then.
Mm. So that is actually very common when people do like some distance that was challenging to them, or like a pace that was challenging to them. It's like you hit a high and then you take a long break. Like, it's very common. It's common with like marathoners. It's common with like you do it. But I think that the key is, yeah, I mean, you did 8K, but your next run can be 1K.
No, like that's do you know the funny thing is my plan was actually to do every week. I even put it in my calendar. That's how serious I was. My plan was to do every week, maximum a 4K run. Max.
Mm,
That was my plan. It was in my calendar. I wrote it down. but I just never went. And I did the 8K. I did two 8K runs in 2 weeks, so like a week
Mm,
apart.
okay.
And then I was like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna do it again. And then I never did.
Yeah, I get
And
that.
every week I'm like, okay, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. But then I just didn't. I'd rather go and do my boxing
You
class.
see, you found something. And I think that that's it because, like, if I probably signed up for boxing, I'll probably go once and then, like, before I go again, it'll take a
But I
while.
want to run. I actually really, really enjoyed doing the run.
Mm,
And I want I don't know what is stopping me from going actually.
yeah, I know it's not the weather because you like the cold, so. Or is it?
Love the cold. Love it. It could be actually like even though I love the cold, I don't think I want to be running in the cold.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hate running on treadmills. I've tried so many times, but it's just I hate it so much.
Yes.
So maybe I wait for the weather to be nicer, but that doesn't work because I want to sign up for a 12K in
Okay.
March. So I need to actually be running.
Okay, let's do it. Maybe this is the week that you finally get out and run.
No, probably not. I'm using my tooth extraction as an excuse to not do anything
Oh
physical.
no. Oh, I mean that's fair. Okay,
I
next
don't know.
week.
I have an irrational fear, even though I know this is not the case because they told me that it's only 2 days, like 2 days, and it's been more than 2 days since the tooth extraction. They were like, I shouldn't do any exercise for 2 days because it could like get my heart rate up and cause bleeding
Oh,
and whatever. But then in my
oh.
mind, it's like until my tooth is fully healed, I should not do any physical exercise.
To be honest, that's fair.
So that's my excuse and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, we go
Yeah,
again next week.
most likely is next year. But next week is Christmas, please.
Next
I'm
week
not
is
running
Christmas.
anyway.
Oh my god.
Next year, till next year, then we'll go again. I haven't even gone. So I haven't even gone for boxing classes in a while as well because I was ill.
Oh,
Then I had my period. Then I was ill. Then I took out my tooth.
oh.
So like I haven't done any physical exercise for a while, and I'm scared of what will happen to me when I go back to my boxing
To be
classes.
honest, those
Although I
are
have
valid
been doing my
concerns.
push-ups. I try to do my push-ups every day, apart from when I like the days after my tooth extraction. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those
We'll
are
find out.
valid reasons actually. Cause like when I was ill, I was so sad that I couldn't run. Like every day I'm like, should I try to run? But I knew that I wasn't strong enough to run.
No.
And even when I finally attempted, like I knew my lungs hadn't fully recovered because like I struggled a lot. And I was so scared that it's all this time that I'm taking. When I go back, will I still know how to run? Like what's going to happen?
Do you know, it's so funny how our brain works because I remember the reason why I didn't run for the longest time because I used to run a lot before when I was especially when I was in Unilag. And then I think I twisted my ankle one time and I stopped. And then since then I'm always afraid of running because I was like, do I still know how to run? What if I just feel like if I just start running like this, I'll just fall down on the floor. Which doesn't make any sense. But here we are.
It is so interesting. That's so interesting.
Okay.
I think that for me, I decided, especially like after that run where I struggled and I was very sad. I was like, oh my god, maybe I don't know how to run again. Maybe I have to start from the scratch. And then there's this thing that happens where you feel like, oh, if I'm going to start from the scratch, maybe I shouldn't try again. So embarrassing, like after making so much
Yeah.
progress, you take a break, and
Oh
now you have
my
to like struggle
god.
from the beginning.
Yes.
But like I told myself, okay, like you have two choices. Like even if you're going to start from the scratch, you either start from the scratch and then keep at it, or never run again. So like it's your choice. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
think like
mean,
the feeling of being a beginner can feel embarrassing for no reason. But the only thing that feels
yes,
more embarrassing than the feeling of being a beginner is being a beginner again. As far you have done beginner
yes,
before, you have advanced, but then something happens and then you have to go
yes,
back to beginner. That just feels so
yes,
embarrassing. I think I actually have
yes.
a podcast episode about this.
Yes.
Because
I actually I also have like a video on Instagram about it, like how people talk about how, you shouldn't be afraid to start and all, but people
yeah,
don't really talk about restarting,
restarting,
you
it can
know?
feel so embarrassing.
Yes.
But you have only one life. Restart.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your mind today? And it doesn't have to be like today, but like it can be from this past week. Because everyone
I've been
takes it
thinking
so
about.
literally.
I'm thinking about Christmas. I love
Yes,
Christmas
I love
so
Christmas
much.
too.
Yes, I feel like once we're in December, Christmas consumes my every thought. Like everything is about Christmas. The lights, the decoration, the movies. Like I love everything Christmas, and sometimes like I just go to my living room just to stare at my Christmas tree and just smile, and I'm just so happy. It makes me so glad.
What about Christmas makes you so happy?
So I think that I've had like I can think of Christmas in two parts. Like there was my version of Christmas before I moved abroad and my version of Christmas abroad. So my version of Christmas in Nigeria, it made me happy. It wasn't something like, it wasn't a happiness that I, like outwardly like talked about or acknowledged, but like when I think about it, it still made me happy because it meant traveling to the village. It meant like spending time with my cousins and my extended family. It meant the road trip, right? And I just loved it
Mm.
because it was like family time. So when I was in primary school and I was living with my family, like, you do the Christmas shopping and then we all get in the car and then we travel to the village. And then from secondary school and university, I lived away from home. So usually I would travel back home maybe like once or twice a year. And then that one time could be Christmas, right? So like it's like I'm living in Ibadan, I'm living away from my family, but December I know that I'm going to spend it with them, right? I know I'm going to spend it with my entire family. So it gave family time, it gave just a time to relax, a time to just have fun, a time to just bond and
Yeah.
just have a very great time with family. That's how I saw Christmas. So it was nice. It was very nice. And I also had friends in the village that I only saw once a year. So that was also nice. And then I moved abroad and had to spend Christmas away from home. And of course, it meant that, oh, like I got introduced to the Western tradition or the way they see Christmas. And it's completely, I think it's similar in the sense that they also see it as family time. So most people spend time with their families, but like there are also like other traditions attached to it, the Christmas market, the decoration. I know that Christmas decoration in Lagos now on the island, the Zenith Bank decoration is a
Mm.
big deal, right? But like I did not really experience it because I did not exactly live in Lagos. So like decoration was not really, I mean, we had like a few of it, but like it wasn't a highlight. But like I come here, I lived in Lithuania where 1st of December every year there's like an unveiling of the Christmas tree for the year. And then apparently they do like Christmas tree competitions like different cities in Europe, right? And then we all go to see them launch the Christmas tree and count down. So like those are like things that I would look forward to, and the markets. So for me, I realized that okay, if I wanted to enjoy Christmas, like I have to also create my tradition and what I wanted my Christmas to look like. And so for me, it's like, oh, what can I do? Like, how can I enjoy Christmas? So for me, I don't think that Christmas is meant to be spent alone. Like whether or not you're with family, like I feel like Christmas is that one holiday that you spend with your loved ones, and I try to uphold that even till now. And another thing about Christmas is that winter time, I know like you're one of the few people who love like the cold and winter time. But like for
Yes.
me, no, like I find it very depressing and annoying. And I feel like Christmas is the only thing that makes like November and December bearable. And that's why I think that January, February is like the worst, is the worst part of the cold for me, because at least now it's cold, but there's Christmas. So like it's cold, but like there are lights outside. It's cold, but you see decorations everywhere. It's cold, but you can go to the Christmas market. It's cold, but
I love the
yes,
Christmas
exactly.
markets.
So that's something to look forward to. So that brightens up the otherwise gloomy season you get. So That is why I love Christmas. And honestly, anything that has to do with joy, happiness,
Hmm.
excitement, you'll find me there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's very because for me, like growing up, I don't have any like growing up
Uh-huh.
attachment or sentiment with Christmas. So
Mm.
because like I grew up in a Muslim home and it's not like we went to Christmas parties that people do, but it wasn't like a thing that we really celebrated at home and then
Uh-huh.
that we had family rituals around. So it didn't really it wasn't exciting for me in that sense. It was just like it was just a time of year where this thing you said about like how everywhere
Uh-huh.
just becomes so
Yeah.
joyful and bright and there's just so much
Uh-huh.
excitement in the air of a kind and I like that about Christmas and for me now even when I became a Christian also from there it was just like also that for me like this is
Uh-huh.
the beginning so to say
Yeah.
of the basis of
Yeah.
my faith, right? So that is also an element
Uh-huh.
of the joy and celebration that it holds for me and it's just a beautiful time also it's cold it's not hot so and the Christmas markets are now being here in Europe, the
Uh-huh.
Christmas markets, the lights, the everything about around Christmas, even though like even though but just the
Yeah.
excitement around the season. So and definitely sparks joy. So yeah, I love that. And now also like trying to build my own traditions and
Uh-huh.
rituals around different times of the year. Yeah. So I'm with you about Christmas is the best time
It's
of
the
the year,
most
to be honest.
wonderful time of the
Most
year.
wonderful time. Yeah, I wanted to ask something about running,
Mm-hmm.
which I forgot. How did you get into running? How did you start running?
How did I get into running? I think that
Mm,
my first memory of running was in Ibadan. So after school, I started working in a company in Ibadan, and it was a company that offered accommodation. So like many of us like lived where we worked, and we're all young people, and you know that sometimes like young people just want to find ways like to keep fit and just like activity, right? So I lived with people who decided that, oh, they were going to be running in the morning, we'll go for a run, we'll come back, and then we'll get ready for work. And I'm like, ah, let me try this with you people, maybe, just maybe. So I went on that run and it was horrible. And I had I went on a few runs actually. I did not quite enjoy them, but I think I was going for the company. But I also used to have runner's itch. So where like you're running and your body or your legs itch. And that used to annoy me.
mm,
But for me at that
mm,
time, I used to run with sweatpants. So I think that I've figured out that like sweatpants or anything cotton, when I run with cotton, like it makes me itch. But like when I run with the regular like
oh,
sports wear, I'm fine. So there was that.
mm, yeah.
um yeah, so in my mind, like after like a few runs, I was like, I'm not doing this. And when people ask me, I'm like, I hate running. I've tried it and it's not for me. Then when I moved to Lithuania, I was the company that I one of the companies I worked with in Vilnius, Lithuania, was sponsoring like the employees for a race. So there was a race in the city, and you're like, oh, does anybody want to run? Like, would sponsor you, we'll pay your tickets, we'll make tests for you. And my teammates were like, oh, yes, let's do it. I'm like, but okay, 5K, let's do it. It's like good challenge, right? So then I signed up for the race because I had nothing to lose. And then it turned out that of course I have to train for this race that I just signed up for. So as I was trying to figure out, I tried the Nike Run app again, and this time around they had incorporated guided runs. I don't think that they had it in 2017 when I first tried to run, but like in 2019 or 2020 they had it now, or 2021 they had it. So I was like, oh,
Mm,
look at this thing called guided runs, let me see what it's like. And then I played it,
yeah.
and then it was a very calm, enjoyable run. just listening to someone tell me my ears, you can do it. Okay, let's go 500 meters. Okay, you're almost there. It just felt very nice, right? And then I had the race, and the race was great. I was like, oh yeah, I think I can do this again. And that's how like I started running, and I continued to use the guided runs. And to me, I'm like, I couldn't run. Like I can't run without these guided runs. Like these guided runs are the reason why I'm running. And if I don't have it, I can't run. But like with time, I also learned to do without it. I just enjoy. Like I said, it just feels like a step above walking for me. And I love to walk. I love to be
Yeah.
outdoors. So it's like incorporating two things that I already enjoy, like walking, just like I'm walking faster and I'm outside. That already makes me happy. So yeah. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I think how I actually also started running was I did that couch. I got that couch to 5K app
Mm-hmm.
when I was in back when I was in Unilag, and that's how I started running. With they had guided runs as well, different from the Nike guided runs, but they had guided runs, and so that was how I actually
Oh,
started with running, basically. So yeah,
oh, so you already running the Unilag.
yeah,
That's
I used to do
cool.
like constant, almost daily 5K runs when I was in Unilag before I twisted my
Oh,
ankle and
oh
stopped.
yeah, you mentioned.
I didn't run for a very long time after that. And then I did on and off here, but nothing longer than like maybe 1K or 2K on and off until I
Mm.
did that 8K that I did some months
Do you
back.
think that do you imagine a time when you'd actually go back to being that
I mean, I want to say
um
yes. I really want to
crazy?
say yes because I do enjoy when I am running, like in that moment, and especially at the end where it's like, yes, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But the getting myself up to go there is the challenge. That's where I'm having the challenge.
I
And
get
it
that.
doesn't
I
help
get
that my classmates likes to run. Like that's not helping me in any way.
it's not.
I don't know why, but it's not because this person went to go and run on his birthday. He woke up in the morning and went on it like 30 something, almost 40K run. And I'm just like, it could not be me. Like, this is not ideally, it should be like, oh, I want to run. I enjoy it when I'm in the running. My classmates like to run. So maybe I should follow him. But it doesn't work that way for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know.
I thought that was cool. I think I'm going to take up that idea and do it for my
It would
birthday next
never be
year.
me. Never ever could not. Anyway, I don't know, Sha, because now maybe like 2 years now, I'll come and say, "Oh, you guys, I ran," because I
Exactly.
do
Like you
like to be
never really
doing random
know.
things. So, so
I
maybe,
Yeah, I came across a an Instagram reel today. It was an interview with this lady who is 74, and she had run 50 marathons already.
wow,
And she started running when she was 55. So it was true that she
whoa!
had been running a long time. Like she started running late, and she said, yeah, since 55 to 74, she has run 50 plus marathons, and she
In
intends
20 something years,
Yes, and she intends to keep running marathons until she can no longer run. And I found it
wow,
so cool.
that is interesting. At 50,
Yes.
anyway, this is why I always say it's never too late to do anything you want to do.
Never, never too late.
Never ever too late. Like if you can decide at 50 to start running and you're running marathons at 50,
Yep, yep.
wow. Okay. Maybe I have no reason not to run.
Exactly. Also, like maybe it's not now, but like when the time is right,
Yeah,
definitely.
maybe late exactly at the time because boxing was a thing that I did like was not even from where to where as how. Like but now I'm really into boxing. Like I really miss this is the one thing that I miss from not having worked out in the past few weeks
Mm.
is I miss my boxing classes so much. I can't wait to go back actually. So yeah.
Maybe the thing.
Maybe I'll find there'll be a time where running is the thing for me again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just no longer the thing for me anymore for now.
Yeah,
But yeah.
randomly, I also thought about you today, interestingly, and
Oh,
I thought about you because I can't remember I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we're just talking about cooking in general and like men's expectations of like women to cook, blah 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 blah. And I remember from the read club days where like Claudia always says she doesn't cook. Like throughout her first years, she doesn't cook, and how Lade just keeps cooking up a storm now.
This is so funny because I had this exact conversation with one of my friends yesterday or 2 days ago about how like it was so bad to the point that literally the first thing my mother said to my flatmate was Lade does not cook. That's the first thing she told him when he came to my house. The first thing. And now I'm just here like giving God a run for his money. I don't know. So like your interests change, things find you when they find you.
Exactly. Like
Like
they find you when they find you. I love that.
I remember sending a picture of something that I had just cooked to my family group chat, to my mom, my siblings, and they were like, "Wow!" And you were just putting us through so much. Why did you cook this for when you left us? I said, "It's not me. I don't know." But yeah, so sometimes some things just find you
Yeah.
when it's time for it to come out, I guess.
Yeah.
So whatever. You change, life changes, you
Mhm.
develop new skills and interests. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like there's so much, especially for people in our age group, when they fret about like aging and getting old and not being able to do things. I'm like, you literally have like more years ahead of you, you know,
Yeah.
and like you haven't even spent so much time as an adult when you think about it, right? Because like even the
Honestly.
years you've lived, like for most part of it you were a child, but now like you're an adult
Mm-hmm.
and you have several adult years ahead of you. Like whatever you've not done, it's okay, you can still do it.
Time. There actually is time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We have so much time, and apparently we're living longer and longer in these days. So if Jesus tarries, there's
Yep.
time,
And that's why I have to be
and if he
physically
does not
fit.
tarry, there's no point. Like he ain't anyways.
Like I'm like, if
So
I'm going to live so long, I might as well be physically fit, please. That's how I feel.
actually, yeah, yeah. Anyway, anything else on your mind?
No, not that I can think of right now.
Okay. What is the most exciting thing that has happened for you this year?
This year, huh? Exciting. I mean, the most recent exciting thing is getting into the Berlin Marathon. I am so excited about
Ooh, I saw
that.
that.
Yes,
That is great
yes,
for somebody who loves running.
yes.
So I'm very
Yeah,
excited for
because
you.
like you know, okay, let me explain this. Let me break it down for like people, because I know that also when I posted that, people also like reached out like, what does it mean? Like, don't you like sign up for marathons and pay and get in? Like, what? Like, do you understand? So the thing is that Berlin is one of the world major marathons. There used to be six. There's seven now because Sydney joined last month. And this world major marathons, you don't just pay for most marathons or like other marathons or races. There's like a specific number of slots, you pay and you get in, and that's it, you run. But for the world majors, because they are very popular, and already it's also, how if you're like a professional athlete, you don't just run any races, you pick your races because like your performance matters. So like they'll probably do
Mm-hmm.
Olympics, and then they'll do major marathons. So basically world major marathons, a lot of professional runners participate, so that already takes up like a lot of slots, right, from these marathons. And
Yeah.
there are usually like three ways you can get into a world major marathon. The first one is the fast runner track. Now, fast runner track is if you do if you can complete a marathon under, for the men I think is 3 hours 15 minutes or so, and for the women is 3 hours 30 minutes, depending on the marathon itself. So that's the fast runner track. If you're a fast runner, you most likely would get a slot into these marathons easily, right? Now, and then there's the other part, which is like you're a regular runner, you're not a fast runner. For these people, before these people, there's also another part where it's running for charity. So most marathons, these marathons give like charity slots, and they could give a charity like 10 slots, and that
Mm.
charity would decide that, oh, like if you can raise 2,000 euros or 2,000 pounds for our charity, then you get one of our slots. So people then fundraise, and then when they
Mm.
hit the goal, they get a running slot, or maybe like sponsored.
Ah, so that's what
Yes.
the run for charity things are. Didn't know that.
Yes,
I
and
always
then
see
of
them, but I
course there's
didn't
the
know that.
sponsors, like if Adidas or like Nike or Strava like is sponsoring, they also like get slots. So usually they'll use like influencers for as running influencers for like their slot. They'll just offer you, and then you probably have to like wear their merch or like just basically influencing pretty much. And then the rest, which is like for the other mere mortals who just run, there is the slot. So let's say you have like 20 20,000 slots, and you have like 100,000 people who want to get into that 20,000 slots. So they do like a lottery or like a draw where like you just apply, and then they do the draw, and then you may or may not get in. So it is purely chance, right?
Mm.
And for many people, you have tried to
Yeah.
like after the belly marathon, like I also like just saw like threads of people talking about how this is their second third time and they didn't get in. So like it's very common for you to keep trying and you don't get in. So when I even applied for it, I was just like, oh yeah, let me just do it. I wasn't expecting, because when they asked for estimated pace, I think I probably estimated finish time. I probably put like 5 or 6 hours or something. I don't know. I shall put something there, and so and I had completely forgotten about it. I was still talking to Nana about, oh, maybe I should sign up for Amsterdam Marathon, because like that one you just pay and then you get a slot. I'm like, yeah, maybe let me just like have that as a backup plan. So when he came out and I just saw Welcome to Berlin, I'm like, what?
Mm.
And and it happened on the same day that I cried
Yay!
because I couldn't run. So it was like it was a consolation for me, because I was also
Oh.
like struggling with, oh, does it mean I can't run again? What am I going to do? And I said, I'm like, you know what, this is a sign. You can't give up, even if you're going to build from the scratch.
Yes, you can't give up.
Yes.
When is the run?
It's in
Maybe I'll
September.
come to Berlin.
Yes, that would be
Oh, there's
amazing.
time.
Yes.
Yay! That will be. I'm so excited for you. Like maybe one day, maybe me too will run a marathon one day. One day, maybe
Yes.
this will be the ginger that
You
I
you
need.
know what? Like it's you, Lade. Like you just have to say you want to do something and you do it. So I'm not even bothered. When you're ready, you say it and you do it.
Please, oh, physical labor is different. I beg. It's not the same. But yeah, that is really great, and I'm so thrilled for
Thank
you.
you.
And I'm sure that you will do better than you think you will. So
Thank you for the vote of
looking forward to that.
confidence.
So how does one prepare for a marathon? How are you preparing?
So I'm actually going to start marathon training next year properly. I mean, the usual
Mm,
recommendation is anything between 16 to 24 weeks of training, and
mm,
usually so there are like three recommended types of running every week, right? So you should have your easy run, you should have your tempo run, which is the one that you can also like add speed, and then you should have your long runs, right? So the long runs are the most important runs, especially if you're training for a marathon, because that's how you build mileage and you get used to like time on your feet, right? So and you build up, because again, you it's not just to run a marathon, it's also to keep yourself as injury free as possible, right? So don't like go
yeah,
from zero to running 25K. You may be able to do it, but like it's not good for your body. Yeah.
it's not good for
So
everybody. Yeah,
um I guess I'm gonna start from like 5K, 7K, 10K, just like build add like distances every week, and then maybe like 6 or 7 weeks, or yeah, maybe like 4 to 6 weeks before the marathon, I start to taper off. So like say I run up to like 35 kilometers or 37 kilometers, or the closer I get to the marathon, you're supposed to be running less because you should conserve your energy. So when I get to a point, I'll then start to run like shorter distances up until like my marathon day. And then days before your marathon, you also like recommend that you carb load. So you're just eating a truckload of carbs, just that your body is storing the energy. I remember seeing Moin, because Moin is a friend of mine, and she ran the marathon in Berlin this year. And few days before that, she was just
Mm.
eating. She was like, "Oh, I need carbs," and then she can eat like 4 plates of rice. And I'm like, "Ah, you must be hungry." And she's like, "I'm not hungry. I'm just carb loading. It's very important. Like this is not fun. This is just important." So yeah, there's also that. And then I also would have to learn how to fuel my body, because like when you run, your body loses, when you run very long distance, your body loses water, loses electrolytes. So you also have to like fuel yourself. So I also have
Yeah.
to learn and understand my body and know when I need to fuel and how I need to fuel. So yes, that is what will be involved, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Um, is there anything else on your mind or anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just realized I talked about running a lot.
Which is fine. That's what's on your mind.
Yes, and it's very interesting because I can remember I was like, oh my god, running is about to be my personality. Like I'm about to make running my personality. I remember telling
I mean,
somebody
I feel
that.
like no, I feel like we always just talk about things that are most on our minds at the moment because I was thinking about it this morning about how like the past couple of episodes, whether the ones I recorded on my own or it was a guest episode, I have somehow mentioned that I had a tooth extraction because it is literally
Yeah.
literally in my mouth. I'm feeling it every day. This is like it's a
Yeah.
constant.
Yeah.
So and this is what is top of your mind. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. It is what it is. Like it's I don't think it's possible to not talk about the things that we care the most about at any given point.
I agree.
So if you I feel like my hot take is that if you don't talk about something and not necessarily like to other people or on a public platform or whatever, but just like if it's not constantly on your mind and you're not constantly talking about it, do you really care about it?
You know what?
That's just
I
my
agree
my
with you.
thoughts.
I absolutely agree with you.
So yeah, it's great. It's great. Do you want people to find you online?
Yes, you can find me online. My Instagram handle is Amy Pebbles underscore, and I just started a running page called Running Pebbles. Um,
Yay.
yeah, you can find me. I used to be on YouTube. Probably will come back eventually, but like it's my name on YouTube as well.
Okay, I will link to your YouTube and the running and other Instagram in the show notes when this goes up.
Okay, thank
Thank you
you.
very much. This was a great
Thank you
conversation.
so much for
And
letting me.
yeah, see you in September at your marathon. Well, I'm going to see you before then, but
Yes, I
see
was
you,
going to say that.
see you in September again for your marathon.
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you for coming
so
on.
much.
And thank you guys for listening.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye.